Morning everyone. Snap on Tuesday. It's a wet start to the day. We've had a couple of days of storm and winds and rain, that's for sure. I think we've got another one coming in. 7:45, Snap on Tuesday. Welcome back. We have Golf Mark II coming in today, bit of retro coolness. We've got Pioneer 7200, the flip out CarPlay and Android Auto to stick in it. We've got 13 centimeters to go in the front, in the doors, and I think it's 6s in the back. We'll have a look at that. But yeah, we've got front speakers, rear speakers, head unit to do. We've also got another guy coming in with a reverse camera swap, I think it is. He's having issues, so we're going to get that one swapped out for him. Jody's coming in, Snap on Tools, and we'll get should be a new flyer today, I think. And I'm going to do a video for Charlotte. So I've been contacted by a subscriber in a nice way. Normally we don't do this, so obviously how-to videos, yeah, they kind of do well, but you tend to invoke people fitting their own radios, problems occur. So I'm not a fan of people just phoning me up going, "Oh mate, how do I do this?" because I don't want to pay you to do it. Which I get, you know, everyone wants to do something, but it's not what we do in business, basically. But she's contacted me very politely. She's miles away, so she's not going to be able to get to me. But she's having a little confusion with a reverse camera interface. So today, she's watched the Pioneer 77 video, managed to fit her own radio, but she's got stuck with the reverse camera interface from a aftermarket radio to an OE camera. So we're going to do a video today for her to help her understand what she needs to do to connect it, because she's already fitted her own radio. Well done, Charlotte, good for you. So that's coming up today. Other than that, it's a fairly busy week. We had lots in yesterday. We've moved the shop around a little bit. That's why the videos have not been up over the weekend and yesterday, because we were getting stuff sorted. Some plumbing for a new heater in the toilet, so we've got some proper hot water now for washing up, stuff like that. And we've moved the Lotus onto the trailer, and the trailer is in the workshop, so we're not pulling it in and out all day long. Until I get the engine built, that car doesn't need to go anywhere. But it was more a case of working smarter with our space, rather than lugging everything about. So that's happened. But I'm going to get off to the shop, get a coffee, start the day. See you soon everyone. Snap on Tuesday. Let's go. We'll keep them. Right, morning everyone. Here we have, look, beautiful Mark II Golf. It is an 8 valve, although it's carrying the 16 valve bumpers. But it's very cool nonetheless. A bit of retro goodness today. So we're doing front speakers, rear speakers. 13 centimeter in the front here. We've got a, it's probably a 6x4 or a 5x4, something like that, which we're probably going to work with some JBL GTOs, little car coaxial, two-way to go in the back. We do kickers in the front, but I had a vision that this was going to be a small one, so we've got some JBLs to go up here because they sit. That ain't helpful. There we go. Sit up there under the shelf in that little pod there, and we've also got a Pioneer 7200 doing the CarPlay, the Android Auto. So when this is in, it'll look like an old school radio because it's just going to be black, but obviously when he wants it, it will be out and about, giving him sat nav off the top there, which is quite cool. So we're going to get cracking on this one today. Waiting on Jody turning up, and we've got the reverse camera stuff for Charlotte ready to discuss in a bit, which is all stuff here. So we'll come back to that in a moment. See you soon. Don't know yet. Right then everyone, so we are cracking on with the Golf. We've got the majority of the speakers out now, so the standard stuff that was in the front is actually held out pretty well, pretty decent. As you can see from this, they are intact. Little VW made in Tunisia. The rear's a different question. Slightly gone. But that's okay, because now we've got some JBL GT, no we haven't, JBL Stage, no clubs. I'll get there in the end. There we go. So we got some 6x4s in the back, standard looking, sounding better. Speakers in the front, all gravy, kickers in there, look. And Dan is just popping in the 7200. We're going to do a DAB splitter on this, so we're not using an aerial on the windscreen, so we're going to use a factory grounded body aerial, so we haven't got anything going up here. A microphone wire, we're going to hide that somewhere in the dash so that it's not up by the center light. We're going to put it in the front somewhere, I think. I can't believe you just shit. Right, anyway, so we're going to discuss cameras, animal, because we said we would. So what we've got is, let me just spin you around so we can talk and we can discuss. There we go. Right, let's get me set up so you can see. Right, there we go. Right, so with aftermarket car radios, I am here, we're just zoomed in. We basically have 4 different types of cameras. You have the cameras that are on with ignition. It's designed for quick switching, so that when the car goes into reverse, the camera is there, boom, immediately. You have CAN bus cameras, which are turned on electronically via an ECU or a control module. You have switched cameras, which are off of a gearbox switch or a light switch, like a reversing switch. And then you have powered switched cameras, which are controlled by something else, as in like a head unit, power in, power out, or something like that. Now, aftermarket variants, like this little dome camera here, they have an extension harness. So in here will be an extension harness, usually 5 or 6 meters, that will go between the back of the car and the front of the car. We have the option for sound and picture, usually depicted by yellow for visual, sound obviously, or auxiliary will be something else. We have a live and a ground, and that's shown with a red and a black cable. And then on the looms themselves, you sometimes get these little cut loops, which are to go between PAL, NTSC, or guidelines, no guidelines, or reverse the picture or normal picture. Obviously the camera pointing backwards is different to what you're seeing on the screen. So you have quite a lot of control over an aftermarket camera. Not necessarily you do that when you are retaining, let's say for example, a factory camera. Now many are different, but this is like a how-to, so we're going to discuss. Now on this variant, this is basically for a Nissan Navara, Note, Pathfinder, Outlander, all that kind of stuff. So we have the factory plug, which is here. Now this stuff is basically where your signal and power is going to go. We have this thing on the lead itself, which is usually a volt dropper. So aftermarket cameras tend to be 12 volts. These cameras are not. They can either be 6, 5, 8 or something else. So what we need to do is we will take a feed from the standard wiring harness. Now again, different types of cameras, you can have a feed in and a feed out. You could have a switch in or a switch out, or the power could come from the head unit, or the power could come from the ignition. Now normally we will have a reverse trigger or a camera turn on. We will have an earth that will go into the volt dropper. So we could go from 12 volts here from the car's loom into a volt dropper to lower the camera feed down to 6, and then that will then power the camera through the factory plug, which is then going to give you a picture and the camera a power. Does that make sense? But when we are working with an aftermarket system, i.e. like a Pioneer, we have a reverse trigger, which is the purple and the white. Now that one there, and it says on it reverse trigger. Now that one there basically is a powered in, it's not an output, it's a powered in that will tell the screen to swap its image and start looking for the reverse camera, which will be then plugged into our reverse camera input. Obviously with a Pioneer it's brown, it could be yellow as it is on a Kenwood or other stuff, but it will be depicted as a rear camera in. So when we are connecting up to this, let's say for example this Nissan onto an aftermarket radio, that will plug into the camera output from the head unit itself. We have a camera feed, which is a feed out from the car, which will be a 12-volt feed. Now that 12-volt feed will be connected to the car's radio, 12 volts in. So this is the thing that is going to take signal from the car. It's got two purposes. Signal from the car, it's going to transfer down here and it's going to tell the Pioneer when it is in reverse, and then that is going to switch the Pioneer screen over to the reverse picture. It will need an earth of some description. Obviously connect that to an earth, don't be a whatnot, and connect it to the chassis of the radio. And then from that other feed will go into the volt dropper. It will be converted from 12 volts to 5 volts, and then it will go back out to the car's camera to power the camera. So what we're effectively doing is taking a 12 volt from the car and keeping all the camera stuff happy. We've got a ground and a switch to tell the Pioneer when to look for the camera. And then we have a reduced feed from the volt dropper, which is then going to come back out and go into the car and turn the camera on, so everything works harmoniously. And then the last thing we have from then is our picture. That's how these interfaces work. So standard factory plug, volt dropper, our aftermarket output in a phono or RCA configuration, whichever you prefer, a live and a ground, and or a trigger. That's how reverse cameras work. Hope that's helpful. Cheers, Charlotte. Bye.
Right then, so, a bit of an update for you. Alex has been getting on with a Ford S-Max Galaxy. Not quite sure. I think it's a Galaxy, maybe. This one is a previous job of ours. We have a rear monitor mirror mount, and it has a reverse camera on it. We had a failed reverse camera on this one. It's quite an old one. Let me just turn that down. Guy had it for quite some time, but it powers the unit on and pops it into reverse when you go into reverse. So this one's all done now. Just an easy replacement camera on the back of the car. Hello. That'll be us as well. Didn't know this had a reverse camera, dash camera in it. But just so you get to see it, there's your reverse camera just there. Just fitted to the rear lip. Yeah, that thing's done. So I'm moving on with the Golf. Golf's getting on well. Speakers are all done now. I'm just working through the radio stuff. I've got Alex to come over in a couple of minutes to come and have a look at this, how tight this is, where these are all mechanical heater controls. They've actually got metal gears at the back that swivel and turn, and I've got cables connected to them, and I'm quite conscious of the cables getting caught up in there. There's our microphone just there, look, on the switch blank, so I haven't drilled any holes. I've just managed to make provisions for it to sit there, so instead of it going up the top with the sunroof and taking all this trim off, we've managed to get it there. USB is in the glove box, just here, and then we've got a digital radio splitter on the factory radio antenna there. So this thing's all sorted. Just waiting for Alex to come and get sound with that bit. It's nearly lunch, so we'll give you a shout back just after. Catch up with you soon.
Why are you going to hide, Dave? Why are you going to hide? Right, everyone, the Mark II's finished. So, 4 speakers changed, kickers in the front, JBL clubs in the back, and then we've got our Pioneer flip-out screen. So, obviously, single DIN chassis, double DIN screen, the ability to have it tucked away so it can hide, look like an old school radio. We've done a DAB splitter on this, so we're using the factory aerial. And we put the microphone out of this onto a little sticky pad here rather than running it all the way up there and disturbing all of the headliner, which is quite neat and tidy. So we don't want to do that. So it's got modern touches on a classic car. And there we go. Everything all good there. Stupid clips. Job done. We've even put a piece of plastic across the top of the heater controls here. So this is like a ratchet behind here that pulls a cable off to the right hand side. So we've put plastic on top of it so the cables scoot out the back and drop down rather than getting in the way of all these switches. But there's clearly a little ratcheting issue with this one. but it works, so that's all we can say. That was done and dusted. Right, see you in a bit. Right then everyone, that's it, we are done for a snap on Tuesday. I got myself a little deburring kit today, very cool. Little Blue Point version. What else did we get?
I've got a pair of flush cuts.
Oh, you got a pair of flush cuts, some blue ones. Tomorrow is a Wednesday. Steve, strip camera. Michael, replace DAB aerial and check the battery. Fun times. And then we've got some busy stuff coming up. Gosh, all of the fun.
And then it's February.
And then it's February.
Quick.
Yes. Busy. Right, see you all in the morning, everyone. Yeah.